So my truck sat in the store for I don't know how long. So um, it did have oil in the shocks, but there was absolutely no shock rebound if I pushed the piston in. Some people like that. I don't. I like a little bit of the piston coming out, even with no spring. So took them apart. I refilling them. Um, I like a nice light weight. I'm using the 35, and in the perfect world I'd run some 45 in the front, but I don't have 45, so I'm just gonna go 35 all the way around. And while you got your shocks taken off, it's a good time. Check your droop. Nothing should bind or catch. Everything should just drop nice and smooth like that. That's perfect. That's what you want to see. So yeah, usually what I do is I fill them up just below the tops, and then I'll pump the piston about 6 or 10 times, whatever. Doesn't really matter, just do it a bunch of times. The important thing is don't let the head of the piston come out of the oil. Keep it below the surface, and then let them sit. The longer the better. This is just getting the bubbles out. What I do is I set them up in this little box and I put it on. This is a air filter here. I don't know if you can hear it humming, but the whole thing vibrates just a little bit. So when I put my shocks on here, it really helps get those last little stubborn bubbles out from the bottom. And yeah, so I'm gonna let these sit. I like to let them sit for quite a while, even on my little shaker here. But I'll show you guys how I put them back together. I'm gonna clean up the other parts of the shocks in the meantime. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a minute and we'll put these back together. Just a quick little RC pit tip. Some of these can be pretty sloppy if you're just trying to pour this in there like that. It all runs down the front of the bottle and bits everywhere. They don't all come with a nice nipple. But what you can do is get yourself a 10 mil, and this fits perfectly down inside. Like flush, so you just dip that tip in there, draw the plunger, and then you can precision fill your shocks. Okay guys, I got my shock parts all laid out here. The springs, I think these have sat long enough on the shaker. So I'm gonna start putting these back together. What I like to use is a pair of pliers with some tape around it so you don't damage your shock bodies, especially when you have the more expensive aluminum ones. You don't want to scratch up. A lot of them have threading, so instead of the slip-on spacers, you actually thread down or thread up this ring. So yeah, I like to use these, and then something skinny, little screwdriver or an Allen key, and you fit that through there, and between that and the pliers you can safely get your lids on tight without cracking them or scuffing up your shock bodies. So what I like to do, move mine up about halfway, The bladder back on. Shock cap. That's on there good and tight. And what I like to do is work the action of the shock a couple times. And see how that comes out a little bit? That's what I'm looking for. I like a little bit more than that actually, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this shock back up and put just a little bit more oil in. That's about what you want, just below the surface. There we go. That's beautiful. That's about exactly what I'm looking for. Alright, go ahead and clean up the outside of your shock. Get your ring back on. And your spring, making sure not to mix up your front and rear spring with the shock. Shock collar back on, and oh yeah, that feels nice. So I'll just repeat the process here. You guys can watch. Again, I go about halfway. Put the bladder, shock cap, manipulate, check, rebound. Nice. I like it. Again, clean off your shock. Add the ring. Make sure you got it on the right way. Spring. Shock collar. Shock number 2. All right. So, yeah, you guys get the idea. I'm going to end this here and go ahead and build my other shocks here. I'll see you guys in the next one.